This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Throw Gang, we are joined by the head honcho of herd immunity in the nerd community, the Viking of voice acting. She speaks her mind with no filter, Britta, the podcast princess, the sultan of STEM. The G in her name is just like her fits hard. She's a young money Gillionaire, tougher than Nigerian hair. The pharaoh of Fear Street. We believe in Adam Eve, not Adam and Eve. The overall queen of Carhartt overalls, the valorous vindicator, actress, and co-host of the Periodic Talks podcast, Gillian Jacobs. Gillian, how are you?
Oh my God.
That was a good one, right?
Oh my God.
James, you need to have a cigarette now.
I know.
Wow.
God.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
I've had 13 months to come up with that intro because we initially started the conversation having you on the pod over a year ago.
Yes. Yeah.
We're happy to finally make it happen. Gillian, it's great to have a fellow podcaster, a fellow celebrity here on Throwing Fits. So we couldn't be more pleased to have you on the program. The first thing we want to do is a fit check where you are going to walk us and the audience at home through the totality of the fit that you wore specifically for the goddamn motherfucking boys. The choice for you is, do you want to start top down or do you want to go bottom up?
Bottom up?
Yes.
Yes.
She's a pro.
There she is.
Since this is the only podcast that matters, I really thought about what I was going to wear for you today. I'm not going to lie and pretend like I just threw something on.
Sure.
All right. So we're on a Zoom, so you can see it. I don't know if I can flip my... Okay, so I'm wearing Dries Van Noten boots.
Ooh, shit.
Yes.
Okay.
With the pronunciation, too.
You're doing this whole pod from a standing desk.
It's actually on a music stand. I did this podcast last year and they sent me all this podcasting equipment, including a music stand, which I now use as a standing desk.
Okay.
I hope you're ready to stand for the next 5 hours.
This is going to be a marathon session, but I mean, get it in how you can.
I might take the shoes off.
Okay. Wait, so they're just like Dries, so it's like a heeled boot? Like, give us a little bit more info.
Boot. Okay. It's a heeled boot. I have not worn anything with a heel in like 12 months. So this shows my dedication.
Sure. Do you normally, is that like a going out boot?
This is like, I got these boots probably in late 2019. So they didn't see a lot of wear, but I had worn them, if you want to feel like, they're like, if I want to feel better about myself shoes that day, like if I need a little something extra.
Which should be every pair of shoes that everybody listening owns to begin with. But yeah.
Do you own a lot of Dries?
I do. I was buying maybe one Dries piece a season.
Okay. Everything in moderation.
You're a sniper. Very specific. John's cut.
Surgeon.
Sale. I would wait for the sale. The other
stars, they're just like us.
Yeah. A cheap surgeon.
The other pair that I thought about wearing for you today was like a pair of silver, like almost knee-high Dries boots with a higher heel. Yikes. That I remember I texted a picture to our mutual friend, Phil Chang, like, should I get these? And he said, absolutely.
Sure.
I bought them and I've never worn them. And I thought, should I wear them today or is that too much? So
just from your words, it sounds like the boots that Jonah Hill holds up in the 40-year-old virgin at the eBay store,
Yeah. With do they have fish in the heel or anything? In the
They should. No, I could go and grab them for you. But yeah, they're like, I was thinking about that today of like, I need to come up with an outfit for those boots.
Did you consult with Phil or anyone else on the fit?
Yeah.
Not today.
Okay.
I dug deep within myself. I wanted it to be authentically me. Yeah.
Very proud of you. Well, we'll see because we have so much more fit to go.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. I know. We've only done
any socks.
Any socks with these boots, absolutely socks. They are silver socks with navy blue polka dots, and I think they are from the J. Crew kids section. I think they're crew cuts.
Crew cuts, yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of crew cut socks.
That's a hack for any of our listeners with extremely child-sized feet. Just go to Polo Kids, Crew Cuts, Gap Kids, whatever.
That was, that exclusively for one period of time I wore boys Gap Kids button-up shirts, and my winter jacket when I lived in New York was a boys Gap Kids coat because they're a lot cheaper.
Sure, 100%.
Yeah. All right. You want the jeans?
We absolutely want the jeans.
Pants time.
Yeah.
Okay. They are vintage Levi's that were gifted to me.
Very sick.
That I have been wearing. I don't want to say for how long without washing them, but I've been wearing. I definitely went through the quarantine sweatpants only for a long period of time, and then I was like, it's time to put on some jeans. So I've been wearing these jeans.
big girl pants.
Yeah, for months.
But you treat your jeans like a male college freshman treats his bed sheets. We're just going as long until they're standing up on their own in the corner. We're letting it rock.
Exactly. That is the standard at this point.
Okay. You're going to really connect with our listeners, by the way. This is good. This is going to be good.
And then for you all, I wore my Tom Brown button up. How would you describe this shirt? You're the expert.
That is an Oxford cloth button down.
Yeah.
What that is called. Nice.
Yeah.
Where's does it have like any of that, like the ribbon detailing? Where's
no
that?
ribbon, but I got this guy.
There it is. That big old stamp.
Yeah.
A classic. An absolute fucking classic. The nicest, most expensive shirt that you could buy. Or
what do you think of men wearing the child-sized Tom Brown suiting?
Men? Great.
Yeah, like like with the short with the little schoolboy shorts and everything.
You're thinking hard about this one. You're like, okay.
I haven't thought about that in a while. How are you?
LeBron James wears them a bunch. I'm trying to think who else you would. I mean, it's in a lot of magazines, like editorialized. But yeah,
I was thinking more like the kilt.
Yeah.
Also, a very cool look.
Yeah, I like the kilt.
Big, bold maneuver. And Gillian, we're not asking you because you're a woman. We ask this of every guest. What are the panties?
Yeah.
I know. You guys put that in the email.
I know. I had to.
Yeah.
Prep me. Yes. For that question. I think I'm wearing some like underwear from Madewell. I had a gift certificate.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
This is the first time that Lawrence and Sham are hearing this, but you guys, I prepped Gillian. I was like, just so you know, I'm going to ask you about the panties. It's not you. Yeah. And then the next email I got was from...
Don't get a big head or anything, Gillian, okay? We asked everybody.
The next email I got was from her publicist being like, hey, we have to push this. And I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry, something came up immediately after I read that email. Sorry, we're gonna
very concerned for a second, but all right, Madewell.
Any earrings, jewelry, watch?
Yes.
Okay.
My earrings and my ring, same. My friend Irene Neuwirth, they're both by her.
Hell yeah! So you're supporting the homies on that one. Shout out Irene.
Gots to.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I did not have my ears pierced until a few years ago. So this is very new for me, wearing earrings.
Believe you got your ears pierced on national television, if I'm correct.
I did. I got my ears pierced. Yeah, it hurt. I got them. Anybody have their ears pierced?
No.
Sham used to.
Yeah, Sham used to.
Yeah. I decided, when I was little and everyone was getting their ears pierced, my mom said no, she wouldn't let me. And then it felt like at a certain point, people stopped talking about it because it was no longer novel and new. And so I just never got my ears pierced. And then when I would go for a costume fitting, I always felt bad because they wanted to give me earrings.
Sure.
And clip-ons hurt so much. I don't know if any of you have ever.
Really?
They hurt so badly.
You got to wear them for mad long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just pinching your ear. And so I started refusing to wear earrings. And then I thought, like, why am I denying myself the chance to wear earrings in life? But then I thought I'm also a coward, so I'll never do it on my own. And I find going on talk shows very intimidating because I live a very dull life. So
you're a humble queen.
No. And so I was like, if I get my ears pierced live on Jimmy Kimmel, it'll kill two birds with one stone. Like it'll like take away the pressure of having to like tell a really funny story on a talk show, and I'll actually just get my ears pierced.
You're going to have to get like a facial tattoo when you go on Conan or something.
Yeah. And at least now your reputation with all the costume designers in Hollywood has improved because they were like, yo, she is a diva.
Just get Fear Street over one eyebrow.
Yeah, or on the knuckles, Fear, and then we'll wrap Street around. We'll use the thumb or something. Yeah,
exactly. I believe
that is a complete fit check, I think. Right? Okay.
Yeah, I think
First hurdle easily jumped over, Gillian.
Again, the fits are like the G in her name, hard. Gillian, you have said in previous interviews that you're a bit of a loner who does not have her life figured out. Is that why you did the most obvious thing and launched the podcast? Next logical
wait,
step.
what does that say about you guys?
We're fucking loners who don't have our lives figured out.
Yeah, we're loners who found each other.
Yeah, we're 20. We're 26-year-old
I'm a
men.
co-host too.
Okay.
We got okay. What's your name?
Deanna.
And were you guys boys before the podcast, or did the podcast like bring you guys together?
Oh, this was a total setup that worked out better than I could have imagined. So essentially how it came to be was a couple of years ago, I made this documentary about this woman named Grace Hopper who worked in computing, like starting in World War II. And so I started to do more things in the world of STEM, even though I know nothing about STEM, actually. But I thought there were all these amazing stories there. And I realized that podcasting was like a really great way to do it because, you know, especially with like more historic people with documentary, you have to find like archival footage and it's like the bar is very high. But with a podcast, I can like do a little story time at the end of an episode and just like briefly tell this person's story and also interview cool people. So Stitcher, when I presented this idea to them, were like, would you ever want to co-host? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And so they had just met with Deanna Reesenover and were like, I think you two would really get along and do this well. And so we just did like a test recording and it was amazing. And she's so great. But we've only ever been in the same room once because we did that in 2019 and then we didn't start doing the actual podcast until 2020. So we've done the entirety of this over Zoom. So we've really been like getting to know each other.
What's the first hang going to be?
Have you thought about what you guys are going to like, what kind of trouble you're going to get into when you guys link?
So we were talking about, she was saying that she was making her own sauerkraut and we were talking about pickling things. And so I suggested that we go to this restaurant in LA that's at Grand Central Market. So I think our producer, Tamika, Deanna, and I, maybe we will go to this restaurant.
Little sauerkraut tasting, you know, nothing too wild.
Sauerkraut with
and also girls. Nothing too normal. So it's just weird enough for you guys.
But we had to I had to learn how to crochet for the podcast recently. So maybe we'll go to like some, you know, crocheting event.
How are your crocheting skills?
They're really bad.
Okay.
You want to see?
Yes. You have an example of your dog shit work that you'd like to share.
This is like, okay.
What is that?
Exactly. So we interviewed this woman named Margaret Wertheim, who has this project called the Hyperbolic Crocheted Coral Reef, where she and her twin sister have crocheted these figures that looks like a coral reef. People should look it up. It's amazing. And so there's this connection between crocheting and hyperbolic geometry, where someone discovered that crocheting was actually the best way to physically represent hyperbolic geometry. And then they're like, oh, and it kind of looks like creatures in a coral reef. So now they're doing this big project. They've done it all around the world. And then people in whatever city they're in also contribute their own.
Okay.
In the crocheting community, they crochet things. So we wanted her to teach us how to do hyperbolic crocheting. And Deanna knits. So hers was amazing and perfect right off the bat. And mine looks like this. And when you say, what is that? That's a very valid question.
I don't know what hyperbolic geometry means, so I can't say that is or isn't what it's supposed to be. So I guess congrats or sorry that happened to you.
No, this isn't what it's supposed to look like. This looks like nothing.
It looks like a baby yarmulke.
Yeah.
I just did such a bad job, but I will say, like, I went from never having crocheted ever to even being able to like do a stitch. I guess I'll give myself credit for that.
That's progress.
I don't know if Periodic Talks has merch on the way, but let me tell you, the kids are hungry for merch out there. Maybe you want a one of one or a very limited run
to you both.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, listen, they're no baby yarmulkes, but we can sell some pants if we have to, you know.
Listen, if there's ever a moment for Periodic Talks Throwing Fits crossover, I believe it's in the merch space.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's an incredible idea.
Well, okay, you're obviously well versed in things like hyperbolic geometry and crocheting now because of the podcast. But like, let's go back to a young Gillian. What were your grades like in math and science growing up? Trash?
No, they weren't full trash because I think I was too afraid of my mother to have full trash grades. But that wasn't that. I had to work harder for that. And I remember I was in honors advanced pre-calculus and I dropped down to honors pre-calculus, and my mother was very upset to the point where she like had my cousin call me and telling me I was making a terrible mistake that was going to ruin my life.
Yeah, ruining your life, sure.
Yeah.
Is that when your mom lit your house on fire?
That was after my mother lit our house on fire. Yeah, that happened when I was much younger. I got this call in high school. So my mom really wanted me to like be good at math and science. She even tried to sign me up for this math summer camp at Carnegie Mellon University, where she worked in Pittsburgh, where I grew up, where you had to take this like incredibly hard hours-long entrance exam. And I got so sick of it that I just like gave up and walked out.
You just bounced? Damn.
Yeah, I did. And so she still is upset about that. So maybe this podcast is really just me trying to make it up to my mother now that I think about
to impress her finally. Like if your mom could have her druthers, what did she want you to like be when you grew up?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Well, I also did mention to her when I was little that I wanted to be like a Supreme Court judge, and she still brings that up like it's like a realistic thing that could happen.
Sure.
So I think
they're letting anyone in there these days.
Apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess she really would have loved it if I had pursued something in math or science, and certainly Carnegie Mellon is known for both of those things. Yeah.
Well, Gillian, speaking from personal experience, starting a podcast will not impress your parents.
Yes.
Trust us.
Does your mom listen to your pod?
Yes, she does. She does.
Okay.
My mother's incredibly supportive. My mother, she listens, she loves it. And now I'm just telling her that she has to get all of her friends to rate and review.
Yeah,
of course.
Is she going to listen to this? Is she going to listen to this and shout out Mrs. Jacobs, if she's listening?
Yeah, she'll listen. Absolutely.
Hell
yeah. Martina will listen for sure.
Mrs. Jacobs, I'm sorry for asking your daughter about what panties she's wearing. The pod's been going strong for like a few months now. And like, obviously it's been a project of yours that you've been developing for a few years now. Like, was there a moment or any feedback, whether it was a review or just like a fan interaction that like has really resonated with you?
Yeah. I mean, someone left a review saying that they listened to the episode with their kid and that it was actually about the hyperbolic geometry and the crocheting, and then went home and looked up images and they were going to start doing it themselves. And that was incredibly gratifying. And that's everything I've been hoping to do with it, so yeah, things take so long to do that just now to have it out in the world and get to meet all these amazing people that we've gotten to interview and like I said, become friends with Deanna. It's all been great.
Is the goal to like highlight these, because it's all women in STEM, right? Is it to like highlight?
Not exclusively, but thus far on our podcast, yeah.
Is it to like get young girls like more interested and be like, yo, like there are people that you can grow up to be, or is it like kind of a throwing fits type endeavor where it's just make as much money as possible, doing the least amount of work possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I chose to do a show about STEM, which required fact checking and research and all this stuff to try to make as much money as possible.
You want to get rich like Ken Burns,
No, I think for me, it's like, I now having, like I said, I've gotten a chance to do some documentaries and like do print articles and everything. I just thought like, this is actually a really great way to be able to highlight a lot of people with the podcast medium. And so it's been that for me, if nothing else, like I'm just excited. Like I first heard about this woman, Margaret Wertheim, with the Crochet Coral Reef, like over 10 years ago. And I went and saw it when I still lived in New York. And so honestly, part of it is just like, I put her name on a list of somebody I've always wanted to meet, and I got to talk to her, and that was pretty cool.
So do you have a favorite guest thus far then? And is it Margaret?
I'd say Margaret's up there. Another person that I just loved was Dr. Anissa Ramirez, who's a material scientist, who wrote this amazing book. And I'd never heard of material science as a discipline or an area of science, however you properly say it. This is why I have, we have fact checkers on the show.
Right. You have professionals. Yeah.
Interns. Out of my depth. But yeah, she wrote this incredible book where she talked about these inventions and how they changed us and changed the world. Like she was talking about the invention of the light bulb and all of these effects on it, down to the fact that they think that that artificial light is one of the contributing factors for why people are taller now.
Really?
Yes. Apparently the color in most light bulbs stimulates like the growth, whatever center of our brain. And so because we're in that type of light for so many more hours a day than we would have been hundreds of years ago, that may be a slight contributing factor.
I need all my short kings to turn on some lights, you know?
Yeah. I was going to say the invention of Dries boots, I think, also contributed to,
talking to all these amazing people is like the best part. And you know, the bags of money from podcasting is just a nice perk on the side. Who's been your least favorite guest so far? Who sucked?
Yeah. No, that'd probably be like people who refuse to come on the pod, right?
Yes. Oh, does that happen?
We've gotten some declines. Yeah.
Why?
I'm not going to name them.
No, sure. That wouldn't be
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Your ass is on notice, motherfucker.
Bill Nye, pull up if you want that smoke.
No, actually, we guest hosted Bill Nye's podcast, and he's actually a featured guest on one of our bonus episodes.
Oh, hell yeah!
He's really the only. We only know so many scientists, you know. So I really didn't have a deep Rolodex.
Beekman's World, that guy. Do you have a dream guest? Like, who's on your wish list? Like, you know, you're definitely, you've been on our wish list for a minute. Who's like your dream guest to get?
Who's your Gillian Jacobs?
You're asking the good questions. I have not even thought about this.
I want to appeal.
Really? I know you said you made that list, you know?
Yeah, I now I have to go back to oh gosh. I don't know. We've already had an astronaut. That's pretty cool, right?
That is cool.
Damn.
Sure.
Are they in Fast 9, the new Fast and Furious movie where they go to space?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, the director of the Fast and the Furious movies, Justin Lin, had directed a bunch of Community episodes. So I have an in there. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Get Vinny on the horn stat.
Yeah. I should call
Vin
Justin.
Diesel.
Get Han's back. Get him. You know, he needs
Han
some
is
fucking
back.
loving.
Though to be clear, Han is a make-believe character. There's a real actor there, and I don't know
who was in Justin Lin's movie about Asian Americans in California, Better Luck Tomorrow. Great film.
Yeah. So Justin Lin, he's my dream.
Justin Lin,
Vin Diesel, etc.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
What's been the hardest part about doing the podcast so far? Is it the fact that it's weekly? You know, the shit never ends. The fucking audience people are monsters, right? They just need more content all the time. What's the hardest part for you?
You know, I like that it's weekly because it's giving me a nice schedule and structure. So I enjoy that part of it. Yeah, I think it would be nice to be able to be in the same room with the people. Sure, you know, that part has been hard. Trying to like soundproof a closet well enough to be able to do the podcast.
Are you really recording in a closet like when you cut the pod?
Yes.
That's the stew.
I have put every blanket I own into this.
You might need to crochet some more. You know?
Yes, exactly. I do have some crocheted blankets in there, but not ones I made. But yeah, I have strung up. It's been a little bit of engineering on my part, which I'm proud of. Like,
yeah, that's the E in STEM. You know,
that's the nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've secured some sound blankets using suitcases and binder clips and strings. So there's no AC in the closet. So during the summer, that was a little challenging.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot, dude.
Well, you know what? They went to the moon with duct tape, so it sounds like you're carrying on with a great tradition of American innovation.
I mean, granted, the moon landing was fake, obviously, but yeah, I'm sure there was duct tape on that movie set as well.
Have you guys uncovered the fact that the moon landing's fake on your STEM pod? Periodic Talks.
You know, when we interviewed astronaut Jessica Meir, who may be one of the next people to be on the moon, I didn't ask her about the faked moon landing. Somehow it slipped my mind to ask her about Stanley.
Do you, when you're talking to these like professional scientists and engineers and mathsmen and women, do they like talk about how conspiracy theories and like this distrust in science is kind of taken over? And like, what are their thoughts on that, this whole like kind of recent phenomenon?
We have not gotten into that. No, that has not come up. But I mean, maybe it should be a future episode because that has actually never come up in any of our episodes. Has it for you? Is this now a featured part of the pod?
No, it just seems like scientists and doctors are kind of fed up. They're like, yo, science, like trust science, right? Like stop believing these fucking, just because your uncle said it on Facebook, right? Doesn't mean that it's, like this trust science.
This part of Periodic Talks exist as like a warrior for the truth, right? Against like the shit that is happening on Facebook, like James said. Have you thought about that? The responsibility you have, to be a siren for truth?
Oh my goodness. And I had never thought about that. You're giving me additional responsibilities.
I hope it's not too much pressure, but yeah.
It certainly did not start from that place. It genuinely started because, I as soon as I did the podcast as soon as I did the documentary about Grace Hopper, people started being like, do you know about this person? Do you know about this person? You should talk to this person. And I was interviewing people for like Glamour magazine and getting to talk to amazing people. And I just wanted to keep doing more of it. So that was as far as my thinking went.
Yeah. You were trying to like amplify the platform that you had versus like be a warrior and be a part of the culture war to be in the trenches.
It's it's Bill Nye, Dr. Fauci, Gillian Jacobs, and her co-host Deanna. That's who we need to follow.
That's my starting lineup, dude. And, if I'm going to hit the court against the fucking Monstars, that's my squad. 100%.
Against the Monstars of racist uncles on Facebook. Gillian, you have a motherfucking trilogy of movies coming out this summer. The Summer of Fear on Netflix with Fear Street.
Yes.
How stoked are you to be back in the lab cooking up feature-length films, even though you haven't come out recently? But yeah, what can you tell us about Fear Street?
Well, I mean, I read so much R.L. Stein growing up. I don't know if you both.
We read Goosebumps.
A lot of Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Never. I was too much of a pussy for Fear Street, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I definitely read Fear Street.
Fear Street was like, because like that's for teenagers, and then like Goosebumps like a preteen thing, right?
Yes, I think I thought of it as like very adult Fear Street.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So when they sent me the script, they're like, don't know if you've ever heard it. I was like, no context required. I know exactly what Fear Street is. I was very excited. And Lee, who directed all three of them back to back, which I just thought was like an incredible feat. She's so amazing. I've gotten to see little snippets doing ADR once again from the closet. And the movies look amazing. And I was just so impressed by the fact that she, shot 3 movies back to back and is now edited 3 back to back. So I'm really excited for them to come out this summer.
Are they legit scary? Like, are we gonna scream?
Terrifying?
I thought they were very scary.
You hate scary movies.
Yeah. What's your bar?
You're like very scared of scary movies, right?
Yeah. I'm scared of everything. But I think other people who are braver than myself will find them scary. I mean, they were really cool to make and the cast was great. And I was like, I was like in the R.L. Stein books I read as a kid come to life. So that was really cool.
So they take place correct me if I'm wrong, but the years like 94, 78 and 1666.
Yes.
Are you in all 3? Are we allowed to say?
I don't know what I can say. I don't want to get in trouble.
No, we don't want to get in
okay. One movie. How about that?
What?
I'm in more than one movie.
Oh, okay. Breaking news.
Breaking.
Unrelated question. What do you think of the fits in, Pilgrim America?
Okay.
A lot of Tom Brown.
Okay, I'm not in that section of the movies. And I was very grateful because they shot that in the dead of summer. And they were wearing like full wool, many layers. So I was feeling very grateful that I was not in that section of the films. So I like to be very comfortable. You were saying like we
were saying how much of a diva you were earlier. Yeah.
I now try and like get away with not wearing heels on camera as well. That is one of my big fights. So I'm like, just the only thing I really care about is like comfortable shoes. Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's all about the voice acting, right? And the podcast.
Exactly.
And not wooden clogs, whatever the shoe du jour was in 1616.
I do wear a lot of clogs around the house.
Those are the chef's shoe of choice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Phil Chang put you onto those?
No, I don't know. When did I get into the Danskos? Oh, I think that was like a good set shoe. It's like if you're off camera, if your feet aren't on camera, they're easy to take on and off. And they're very comfortable. And my podiatrist said I should wear them.
No free feet pics. We respect that.
Yeah.
We respect that. Gillian, what is your IMDb is fucking, you could scroll that shit for hours. What's been the favorite movie that you've been in?
If you had to pick.
God. You guys really ask good questions.
Thank you. It is indeed our job.
Yeah. Truly, though, questions I've never been asked before. What is my favorite movie?
I'm just glad your publicist isn't on the Zoom.
Yeah, thank God.
One that like I think really people seem to resonate with and talk about a lot is this. I was in this movie, Don't Think Twice, that Mike Birbiglia wrote and directed. That I was in that really seems to have like struck a chord with people. So I'll go with that.
Do you rewatch a lot of your old stuff? Do you like never want, or you never revisit it?
I don't really revisit it. No, I mean, I'm trying to think of like the last time I chose to go back and rewatch.
Right. Something. Not just like, oh, I'm on TNT or whatever, but like actually you were like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch myself.
Yes. No, I remembered I was in an episode of Law and Order Criminal Intent. And I remembered that I had a very bad hairstyle on that. And that when
what year was that?
That was like 2008 or early 2009, something
Tough
like
year.
that.
Tough year for hair.
Yeah.
And I remember when the hairstylist finished, I was like, do you think maybe we could brush it out a little bit? And she goes, you get what you get. She didn't literally say next, it was implied. Right.
She's like, I heard about you from the Woman in Wardrobe. You won't wear earrings and you're fucking tell me to change the hair.
Yeah.
Pants goes only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember I was like that. I remembered I remembered it being bad, but I didn't have a clear mental image of it. And I couldn't find it anywhere. And I actually had my agents like call Dick Wolf's company and they sent me a link. And I was doing this movie where my co-star was 8 years old. And I was like, I got the email with the link and I was like, oh my goodness, you want to see me in this thing that I shot when you weren't alive? We pressed play and he went, you look terrible. And I was like, oh, it's worse than I remember. Like
that was very much a you don't want my life moment.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out while you still can.
Stay young forever.
So that really was the last time I consciously went back to watch something, but just to like remind myself of how terrible I looked.
Yeah, right.
You're not
humble queen.
You're not on social media, which like we'll talk about in a second. But like, do you read the comments? Do you search out that feedback, or are you just like, no, like I did the work and I'm happy with it and it's out there.
It's done.
You know, I grew up doing plays, and one of my favorite things about theater, theater is that it's like a unspoken thing that you don't read the reviews, or if you do, like you're not supposed to talk about it once you get to the theater. And then sort of when the play ends, they hand you a stack of all the reviews and everything. But having gotten some really terrible reviews in plays as a kid, I think it really taught me that lesson of don't read the reviews. Like I got a savage review when I was like 16 in the local paper. And my acting teacher gave me a book called No Turn Unstoned that Diana Rigg, who was like famously on the Avengers, that TV show, and then on Game of Thrones, she compiled a book of all these like horrible reviews that actors had gotten over the years. And so my acting teacher was like, you're in very good company now. And that kind of like turned me off from reading reviews. So yeah, I really don't. What about podcast iTunes reviews? You kind of getting those out of the way too, or are you kind of digging in there because like this is a kind of new endeavor and you want to see how it's being received? Well, also, we're trying to get more people to write reviews for the podcast, so we read them at the end of the episode. So those I handle.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yes, but that would be the one exception to the rule.
Awesome. It's like the homie Teddy Roosevelt, the motherfucking bull moose, said, "It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who's actually, or woman who's actually in the arena." Tell him that next time you get a bad review. Tell him that.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite movie that you've been in?
Oh God!
You got to be honest. I feel like the ongoing thread, coin. The red thread of this episode is honesty with ourselves.
Yeah, I know. But then when you make a movie, it's such a group effort, and that was somebody's dream thing, right. You know. So I always feel badly
Well, what about if it's
Dude, Where's My Car was at one point somebody's dream.
I think I auditioned for was there a sequel for Dude, Where's My Car?
I have no idea. Maybe. And also,
Dude, I found the car. Dude, where's my keys?
Yeah. I know. I don't want to say. Come on.
Right, that's fine. We're just fucking around.
So then how about this? What is the one role that's gotten away? Like what was like that you're like, damn, I really wish I had fucking gotten that. And maybe it is something like Dude, Where's My Car too?
This is gonna sound really silly, but the first thing that comes to mind when you say that is that I really wanted this Dasani water commercial where it was directed by Wes Anderson and the person was dressed as a hamster. And I thought it was really funny. And I really wanted that commercial and I didn't get it. And
That's a real commercial that exists.
Yeah.
Damn,
yeah.
Okay.
Is there a director that you really want to work with one day?
Like Wes?
Oh my God. Michael Mann.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, dude. I just rewatched Thief. That's on HBO Max. James Caan, iconic movie. Yeah, Michael Mann would be incredible, dude. You'll be in Miami Vice, too. I think we can able to do that.
You know what? One of the first ADs on Fear Street actually worked on Thief. And when I found that out, I would just corner him and ask him stories about shooting Thief and Michael Mann.
Do you have a favorite Michael Mann movie? Because I feel like he's such a dude's rock kind of director. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of like masculine type dudes on film, Twitter, not that you're on social media, but that really like kind of hold up the mantle for man. So I'm wondering from your, like, what is your favorite Michael Mann movie?
I mean, obviously Heat is incredible, but I also really like Manhunter.
Yes, absolutely. And much better than Red Dragon with Edward Norton with the worst bleached hair I ever. That was the only guy with worse hair than you when you were on Criminal Intent, Edward Norton in Red Dragon.
I don't know. You haven't seen my episode of Criminal Intent.
We're gonna definitely pull it up at some point. Don't worry.
Did you have like the emo? It was like 2008. Did you have like the emo, like roar sweep or whatever?
I wish. No, that would have felt like emblematic of the time. Mine was just bad in any era.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
timelessly shitty.
Gillian, super stoked for Fear Street, obviously, and for your eventual collaboration with Michael Mann. But you've been in a few projects that have like crazy fandom and like crazy, like a rabid fan base. So like, obviously Community, right? And now Invincible, which is streaming on Amazon Prime. Super gory, by the way. I had to look away once or twice. But when you're involved with like a project that like nerds, for lack of a better term, love, the Invincible comics are already a cult classic. Community, forever cult classic, forever classic, period. When you're involved in a project that these nerds just like get froth at the mouth over, is the fandom like much more intense? And how do you kind of like steel yourself to that?
Well, those are like two very opposite experiences. So one is like you're building community, right? Like we're all making it together. It's not based on any kind of IP. So that like takes on a life of its own. And we were so excited to watch it develop a fan base because it could have easily gotten canceled after 6 episodes and that would have been it. So that was definitely like, I think the moment that I realized that we had people who loved the show was we went to Comic-Con between the first and second season. So we'd shot all of season 1. It had aired. We were about to go start shooting season 2. And we were not a ratings hit. We were not like taking the world by storm, but I didn't know enough to know that we were in one of the small halls at Comic-Con. So to me, it was like huge. I didn't really understand, but we walked out and we got like a standing ovation and people were clapping and cheering like for a sustained period of time. And I started crying, which I do a lot. And that was like, that was the moment for me when I realized, oh, this isn't a show with just like, oh yeah, I like it. There might not have been millions upon millions of people who felt that way, but like to make something that people really care about is never a guarantee. So that was like amazing. And then
straight grateful.
Yes. And I like tried to remain very conscious of that throughout the whole thing of like, you may never again be a part of something that means something to people in the same way. And don't take that for granted. And that is really incredible. Invincible was an existing thing that I'm now coming into. So that's a different type of pressure. And as it always goes back to Phil Chang, like Phil loves Invincible. He loves the comic, and I've never heard him more excited for anything that I've been a part of than
sick.
When that was announced. So then I felt a pressure of like, I don't want to disappoint Phil.
Right. Yeah. Damn. Can't let down Phil.
Yeah, but I got a very like excited, enthusiastic text after the first two episodes were out. So I felt like I didn't let down Phil. So I'm good.
Amazing. What would so you play Adam Eve, who's kind of like the cool girl dating like the asshole jock, who can like manipulate atoms. What would your Gillian Jacobs' superpower be if you could get one?
You'd think after having done all this Zoom press for a show about superheroes, I would have been asked that question. But once again,
this is why
the lamestream media fucking it up again. No surprises there.
Oh, what was your inspiration? No, we're gonna ask you like how much weed you smoke before you fire up that microphone.
What would be my superpower? I mean, I can only think of the most obvious answers, which is like flying or something like that.
And it's obvious because it's good. We're not going to begrudge that.
I mean, I don't know. What do you two think?
Flying would be sick for sure. Invisibility. Well, invisibility seems like creepy, to be honest.
Yeah. I would like to be just like a super genius on some Lex Luthor. Yeah. I'm pretty much a huge dumbass Gillian, so I would love to not be that. So yeah, that would be mine. And flying. Yeah, a smart dude who can fly.
Smart dude who can fly. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll be a smart dude who can fly.
Absolutely. Were you to get into the Adam Eve character, like what were you like in high school? Were you like the pretty popular girl that was dating the asshole jock?
No.
What were you like in high school?
Yeah, paint us a picture.
I was definitely pretty socially awkward. Didn't really, I had a core group of friends and we would like compete over SAT scores. That was like sort of.
Ooh, you guys sound terrible.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Yeah. What do you get in SATs?
Oh God, I set myself up for this one, didn't I?
We used to always ask. This is funny because we've gotten away from this. We used to ask guests all the time. I got a 1440. James, you got what?
1550.
Yeah, smart podcast.
Between you two, I think I got a 1460.
Oh, so I'm the low guy? God damn it.
Damn.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Middle child, most successful though, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, very good on the verbal side, and to my mother's eternal disappointment, not as strong as that.
Would you guys take extra SATs? Were you those motherfuckers that are like, oh my God, Gillian?
Did you win a superlative, or did you get a super like most likely to whatever
to get swirlied?
most likely to be a buzzkill.
That feels real.
Okay.
And there was an episode of Community where it was like an animated episode where my character's name was Buzzkill. So that
okay, perfect.
That is a name that is definitely falling around. Yeah, no, I'm like, I was, let me think. I mean, I definitely remember in middle school, someone like saying to me with real concern, like, you're going to get shoved into a locker. So I was never popular really. All my friends were really at my like acting class on the weekend where it was like kids from all around the city. It was never like at my school.
Well, to all those fellow, alumni of your high school who are just currently working at the subway in Pittsburgh, fuck you. We got Adam Eve on the motherfucking Zoom here.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Give yourself a swirly, you fucking losers.
Yo, I've been just kind of randomly throwing on Rick and Morty episodes, and I called you the Valorous Vindicator. Your name just popped, and I'm not like a huge Rick and Morty stan, but your name just popped up. I was like, oh my God, how serendipitous. You've done Rick and Morty, you've done Invincible. You've said that you like, and some other voice acting. Is voice acting the ultimate work hack? Like you just don't leave the crib, you just go in your closet. Don't have to get dressed. Don't have to put on makeup. You just show up and just fucking.
Yeah, don't tell anyone because I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, sorry for blowing your spot up, you fucking scammer.
No, I love it. I really love it. I have so much fun doing it. I consciously was like, I really want to do more of this a few years ago. So that's like why it's been so cool that things like Invincible have happened, because it's been so much fun. And I mean, I loved watching animated shows as a kid, and even like I used to watch a ton of animated shows in college. Like I love them. So
like what would you watch?
Simpsons?
I wasn't as much as The Simpsons. I mean, definitely like I watched the X-Men in the 90s. I loved that. And that Batman that kind of had that like Art Deco.
Yes.
Oh, the Batman the Animated Series, also on HBO Max, a fucking classic.
I watched a lot of that. And then what did I watch? I watched like Space Ghost. I loved Xavier, Renegade Angel was a big favorite of mine. I'm trying to think of other shows that I watched. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I was on an episode of that because I basically asked to be on it. I really liked Adventure Time. I basically asked to be on an episode of Adventure Time. That's been another go-to method for me. It's just like, if you like a show, ask to be on it. Yeah.
The voice work is the creative itch that's being scratched there, just like the freedom to like be completely out there with the characters. Is it something that simple, or is it maybe deeper for you? Like, I would just be curious to know why you love it so much.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think it's like a fun challenge too, to like see if you can give a whole performance with just your. I even did like a scripted podcast. It's called Blood Ties, and that is like much more dramatic and grounded. So that's challenging in a whole different way, because you'll never have like the visual component of it.
Right, the expressiveness that you give as an actor. Yeah. Yeah.
So like that was a good kind of fun, cool challenge too, of like, can I give what feels like a full grounded 3-dimensional performance with just my voice? So yeah, I think if anytime it feels like a new kind of challenge, I enjoy that.
I know that you've been just doing all your work from bed. All this voiceover work. Like, the cast of Invincible is stacked, front to back. Sandra Oh, Stephen Yeun, J.K. Simmons, yourself, Seth Rogen, Jason Mantzoukas. Like, it's obviously so many more. Have you never met these people like to do Invincible?
Well, I've met Stephen, and I actually did this episode of this show, Weird City, for YouTube, and he's another good friend of Phil. It always goes back to Phil Chang. So
the source. Yeah.
Yes. And so, so when I finally met Stephen, it was like, I've been hearing about you for years from Phil. So I know Stephen, I know Mantzoukas, but yeah, the rest of the cast, I feel like we just kind of have been doing Zoom press together, and I never got to record with anyone else.
Is Steven getting a big head because of the fucking Minari Oscar buzz? The documentary on rise and grind culture?
He still seems like the same Steven to me. He's amazing. What is there a more deserving person?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I want to talk about Community. Obviously, like your, the world that you and so many other people built out that is just so beloved. Community is basically like, I don't know, it started like 12 years ago, right? I mean, even before that.
2009, whenever that was.
Have you accepted like, and how do you grapple with the fact, positive and negative, that you'll forever be associated with this like singular character?
I think that, like I said, there's no guarantee that you'll ever be a part of something that means something to people. And so
we're still working on it.
You'll get there. I believe in you. So I take it as a total honor and like a stroke of good fortune that I wound up cast on that show. I woke up the day of that audition very sick, and almost didn't go to the audition. But so it all feels kind of like,
wow, a flap of a butterfly's wings. Yeah, that could have changed everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like, especially like this past year? It feels like there's really been kind of a resurgence of like Community. It hit streaming. People are like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love this show. People are discovering it for the first time. You guys did a table read. There's all this talk about a movie. All I see are clips of Community on TikTok. Like, how do you feel? Yeah. How do you feel about just the love, the outpouring in the past year for Community?
I mean, it feels incredibly gratifying because there were so many times, almost daily for years, where we thought we were going to be canceled. No one was watching the show. NBC didn't appear to care about the show at all. And we would sit there going like, I think it's good. Are we just like having I don't know, like, do we just love it because it's our show?
Right.
But it felt like, no, this is actually good. This is actually funny. I mean, like, and look at the cast too, like the good fortune of the people I wound up my first big job ever, really, all the people I got to work with. So it's gratifying to feel like people like it, because we worked really hard to make it. And at the time, it felt like nobody was paying attention.
Nobody cared.
No one cared. So, it only took how many years, but
yeah. What was Danny Glover just off in the corner, fucking being a little weirdo and like scribbling in his rhyme notebook?
Was Donald a scribbling?
Donald
Yes.
Glover, yeah.
Yes.
Danny Glover.
Or Danny Glover. We don't know.
Was Danny Glover there?
Yeah.
Yes, Donald was actually always like writing a movie, working on music. I think I was at one of his first ever shows. And I think it was in a bar in Queens. And I remember going to the taping of one of his stand-up specials for Comedy Central. And we as a cast in LA used to go to like all of his early concerts together. I found this picture. Donald opened for Joel in Vegas one time doing stand-up, and the whole cast, we all went to Vegas to see them. So, I mean, we always knew that Donald was going to have the career that he's having.
There was no questions there. Yeah.
Very obvious. And so we were always just kind of in awe of Donald.
Well, I mentioned, seeing clips on TikTok constantly, and you wouldn't see them because you are not on social media. Why are you not on social media?
I don't know. I just didn't feel like doing it anymore.
You opted out.
How do you know about all the fits that Lawrence and I put together and post, to
how are you going to promote this
insecurities?
podcast, Gillian? We're going to need you to come back just for 24 hours.
Yeah. Why did you want me on? No,
Can you reactivate your shit, post a swipe up and then bounce?
It's not completely wiped. There's no way your people let you delete it. It's definitely just whatever it is. Deactivated is the term, right?
It might be gone. I don't know.
Oh, God damn.
But nuclear, she went scorched earth. Have you ever been tempted to come back on? Like maybe you had on a fire fit and you're like, I need to post this. Or
I gotta live tweet the Super Bowl halftime show.
Or like a political cause or, personal.
Yeah, or that.
But mostly the fit. Like, have you ever been tempted to come back on socials? Are we going to see you there?
Yeah. What's the deal?
You know what? I can't like take credit, because I'm fortunate enough to get to work with a stylist and also like hair and makeup people. But my amazing stylist, Erica Cloud, she has an Instagram account. So when I've worn outfits for press,
you get to have your cake and eat it too. I see. Okay. There it is. So
check out EC Does It on Instagram. Erica's amazing.
But that's where we can peep all of your big fits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Got it. Damn.
EC, keep on doing it.
Who needs a Finsta when you have a stylist? That's some Hollywood shit.
So I might be getting this wrong, but last winter, I believe you submitted a fit pic to our Fit Check Friday when you're still on socials, and it was a throwback, but it was like the t-shirt was incredible or something. And we were just like, oh my God, Gillian knows who we are. Gillian puts fire fits together. We need to get her on the pod. Since then, you said that you claim to have only worn 7 t-shirts for all of quarantine. What are those 7 t-shirts?
What's the rotation?
2 of them by Phil Chang.
Okay.
One is the Bjork band cramp shirt he did. It's Bjork, but with like the Bounty logo. Another one he did that has like a text bubble that says "It's fine," read like 3 a.m. My friend Rachel Antonoff, she made a long sleeve shirt with her URL on it. I've worn that one a ton. What else have I been wearing? Let's see. How do you pronounce it? Kule? Cool? Is it cool? How do you say it? Do you know them?
King Cruel? No, I don't know.
Just Kule. I don't know how do you say it.
Cool.
Yeah, whatever.
I love striped shirts. I've always loved striped shirts. I've got a striped shirt from them that I've been wearing. How is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. What else have I been wearing? A friend of a friend has a soap company called Zoopy Zoom, and I tie-dyed this shirt.
Oh, cool. Nice.
That kind of looks like that mascot looks like somebody in Fear Street that would then kill you.
Yeah.
It's like a deranged
rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I did this movie in Chicago, and someone on the crew had on this shirt that I thought was amazing. And it was band merch for their brother's band, I think. And as a wrap gift, they gave me this shirt. So I think the band is called Bib.
Yeah, it looks like the band is called Bib.
Looks like the band is called Bib.
Something for me real quick, Gillian. When you are, in our world, James and I, the Johns enthusiasts, always hunting down grails, you see a lot of like staff and cast, like, not merch that was ever made, but like rap gifts and stuff, whether it's Uncut Gems or Friends, Seinfeld. Do you have a lot of that shit from projects you worked on, or is that like an anomaly even in Hollywood?
No, I have it. I've given my mom a lot of the community sweatshirts. At a certain point, Joel McHale started making sweatshirts as wrap gifts every season. And so my mom wears a lot of those regularly. And then I have other ones that I just have put away. I'm trying to think of what I wear the most. The thing in that category that I wear the most frequently is my friend Mikey Alfred directed this movie called North Hollywood.
Yeah, I
this
believe
is a legal civ, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are hopefully talking to Ryder McLaughlin.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Yeah. So
have you seen North Hollywood, by the way?
I haven't seen it. I was out of town when he did the screening. But I'm in like one scene of that.
Oh, sick.
I have a screener link. I'll send it to you.
Oh, awesome.
I think that's how that works, right?
Me, dude. I would like a screener link too. What the fuck? All right, whatever. Anyway.
Lawrence, a lot happens behind the scenes that you're not privy to.
Christ. You're asking Gillian what panties she's wearing and getting screeners from Mike. What the fuck? Why do we even do this? Get cut out.
You're the eye candy.
Yeah, clearly.
But so Mikey, as a wrap gift, got everyone Letterman's jackets, and then had North Hollywood like sewn on as a patch. And so that I genuinely wear all the time.
That is fucking fire. And not to tell you what to do, but maybe pop that bad boy on for the fit pick,
Oh, great. I'll tell Erica.
yeah, right. Are you going to get your fit pick styled for our promo? That would be a first time move.
No, I feel like I have to be
yourself.
Yeah, be natural.
Right. That's the whole point. Yeah, that's why I didn't consult with anyone on today's.
Right. Thank you so much.
It sounds like with EC, with Erica doing her thing, you have access to like any Johns in the world. But in terms of like personal grails in your possession that have sentimental value, like what are those?
I think the thing that when you say sentimental value, the thing that comes to mind is like Marc Jacobs heels that I bought myself, like right when the Marc Jacobs stores opened in the West Village, and it was like a real thing. And
these have my name on them.
Yeah. Jacobs. Right. Exactly. So that to me was like, cause I grew up with like mall stores and didn't really know much about fashion before I moved to New York to go to college. And so that was like a whole new thing for me. And I would try and like dress up to go to Barney's because I thought they wouldn't let me try on the clothes unless I looked fancy and rich. But I didn't own anything. Yeah. I didn't really own anything nice, but like it was my version, I guess, of like maybe what like my mom would wear. Like I thought that would make me more respectable. And I have a vivid memory of getting like a $3,000 Alexander McQueen dress stuck halfway on and being so afraid that I was going to rip it, and I truly could not afford it. And I remember, someone like banging on the door being like, "What's going on in there?" And I'm like, "I'm fine." Somehow got it off. But yeah, so I mean, like all of that, to me was like so exciting and cool. And so I still have some Marc Jacobs heels that I bought way back in the day.
Very sick.
All right. I've one lingering question about Community. So you mentioned that Joel McHale started making sweaters of wrap gifts. Who, in your opinion, had the best personal style in Community? And did Joel McHale think that he was the guy with the best style on Community? Because he certainly dressed like it.
Joel has the most opinions about other people's clothes of anyone.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So basically, very recently, I was mocked for wearing a fleece on a Zoom by Joel.
What? And, shows what he knows.
Yeah.
Is he still wearing like skinny suits and like skinny ties and shit?
Yeah.
I haven't seen what kind of suits he's wearing lately. Who had the best style?
In your opinion?
In my opinion.
In your esteemed opinion.
In my highly esteemed professional opinion, I mean, Donald.
Yeah.
Was he wearing boaty pants and no shirt?
No, it was like, it would have been like he was probably on his hipster shit, right? Oh, right.
There was like a lot of Band of Outsiders.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
He was in a campaign, one of those Polaroid campaigns. That was a fucking moment. Yeah, he was a guy. I mean, he still is for a lot of people. I mean, he's killing it now, maybe harder than he ever has. Respect.
Yeah. But you know, that's also one of those things where it's almost not fair to ask because we were working such crazy hours that you would just sort of throw on whatever to go to work. You know what I mean? And you'd be in those clothes for like a total of 2 hours a day and really just basically in our costumes. So when I think about everybody's style, I think I'm really just thinking of what they wore on the show.
Well, in that case, then it's pop.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I like a striped sweater. I got to wear a lot of striped sweaters on that show. I still have a lot of them.
You pilfered some shit from wardrobe.
That is a lesson I learned from Joel McHale, which is like
steal.
Call the executives. No, not steal. Call the executives at Sony at the end of the season and demand your clothing.
Borrow.
Yeah. So he was definitely taught me that lesson. And so I still have a lot of Brita's sweaters.
Well, Gillian,
love seeing wisdom passed down.
Yeah. That's generational mental wealth. You know, so besides the one episode of Law and Order that you started with the terrible hair, and you know, we've all been in lockdown, in quarantine, just streaming the shit out of everything. What are some of the best things that you've watched over quarantine?
I had never watched all the episodes of Barry, and I love Barry.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this one episode in the second season that's sort of like a standalone movie with Bill Hader and this little girl that I think is just incredible. And just like Bill Hader directed it. And I think it's
like the little psychopath girl that can't be killed.
Yeah. Like I just was so impressed by his directing of that episode and just how incredible that episode was. So I was definitely really into Barry. All the like gentle British competition shows, which have almost no competition. So like Great Pottery Throwdown, Bake Off.
Yep.
Repair Shop, which is even more gentle because there's no competition and they always fix everything. So just like gentle, sweet.
Did Bake Off inspire you to bake it all over core?
A little bit, but I am really bad. Really bad. I respect baking now.
That's why you don't go near it. You respect it too much.
Yeah. And because of the podcast, I realized how much science and chemistry is involved.
You respect the sanctity of the art and the science, the meaning of art and science that is baking.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm lacking. So I don't dare.
Well, hopefully if people do trust the science and do follow the science, you know, we're on the tail end of quarantine here. You know, when things open up, as a teetotaler, what does a non-pandemic Saturday night look like for you?
What would I do on a Saturday night?
Crochet a little
yarmulke, a yarmulke for a baby.
Yarmulke.
I mean, I also taught myself how to hand stitch a buttonhole in this last year. So
nice, dude.
Yeah. Okay. I love food. I love restaurants. I can't cook, but I love restaurants. So pre-pandemic, I would always be going to restaurants in LA. So I really miss that. And I can't wait.
You prefer to eat alone? Do you like to eat with a big group, small group, one friend, to have some one-on-one time? What's the ideal, company situation?
I don't mind eating by myself,
Same.
And I think that's also a product of like doing a lot of jobs on location in a different city and being by myself. Like I like to bring a book and read and eat by myself. So I have no problems with that. I'd say I'd prefer smaller rather than bigger group of people for dinner. Maybe not more than 4. Let's go with 4 top.
What not to give any, intel to any like potential fans or stalkers, but like what are some restaurants that are some like absolute must hits when someone's in LA?
When someone is in LA, one must go to
Grand Central Terminal has a whole bunch of fire spots.
Market has a bunch of great places. let's see. Oh gosh.
What about cuisine type? We doing taco trucks?
Yeah.
We doing Japanese?
Korean barbecue.
Oh, I like all food basically. And what have I been missing? What have I been missing? You know what I've been missing is just like going to an ice cream shop and getting an ice cream cone and walking down the streat. I really like ice cream.
Nothing
You should
more
have been
American
born. You should have been born in like 1953.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a very like, as you know, you guys have mentioned, solitary loner.
Yeah, man.
Yes. So sitting
You're a
by
podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah, just a basement dwelling lone wolf podcaster.
Chud.
The rest of us.
A true chud. Gillian, got to ask this. It's a topic that most of us here in America aren't necessarily comfortable talking about, but you know, transparency is good for most things, including
We ask every guest.
topic and it's something we ask every guest. And that question is, how much money do you make?
Enough.
Uncle Sam is not listening. Okay. What do you like to spend your money on though? Like besides, you know, when post pandemic, like times are a little back to normal, like eating out, travel.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't really travel except for work. That's like, everyone's always telling me I should go on vacation, and
You don't travel for pleasure at all?
No, I can't remember the last time I did. Really?
Is that because you get to be on location at such amazing places that you do enjoy yourself a
Like
bit,
Culver
even if
City,
you are
like-
working? Yeah. Fucking
I spent a
backlots.
few years in Culver City. Yeah. You know, I think that I have a hard time planning trips. And maybe to your question, the problem with like, what would I do on a Saturday night? And I don't really have an answer for that, is also like, why don't I go on vacation? What do I like to do? I don't really know. So that leads to no vacations. Just traveling for work.
I mean, do you have like a pet that you dote on? Is it like, are you a secret like car collector? Like, what do you spend your money on?
No, I no longer have a pet.
I'm sorry.
I don't collect
Our
cars.
condolences.
Thank you.
Okay, you confirmed do not collect cars. Okay.
No, I don't
Breaking
collect cars.
So you're like saving up for something that maybe one day, you know?
You know, I tried to take a lot of lessons from things I heard adults talking about when I was a kid. One was like, don't fuck up your knees. I heard a lot of adults complaining about that. So I've always been afraid of running. And then another one was like, oh, why did I take money out of my 401k? I should have never done that. Why didn't I save more towards retirement? So as soon as I started earning enough to actually like save anything, I would just want to save for retirement.
You're saver, not a spender.
That's responsible. You're frugal. That's fine.
Let's get on to the third and final topic of this podcast, which is meats and cheeks. Gillian, we want to know, I mean, love dealt so much with like kind of, you know, dating as a young person. In your experience, what has been the worst first date that you have ever been on?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And please name names.
Let's see. It involved at one point the person saying that they could get me a job at a strip club.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then taking me to Serendipity, which I thought was like, as a snobbish,
You're like, this is corny as fuck.
Yes.
But did you get the frozen hot chocolate?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, like I just was, it was a point of pride for me that I had never been to Serendipity. So I felt like that was taken from me in that moment, you know.
Now I'm imagining John Cusack telling Catherine Zeta-Jones he can get her a job at a strip club.
I think it was like, there's a Scores on the Upper East Side, right? I feel like it was.
Yeah,
like,
probably. Yeah.
I think it was like going past there to go to Serendipity, being like,
Oh, wow.
there. Yeah.
Damn. This guy sounds like a real charmer.
Yeah. And then like trying to get me to go home with him by telling me that his mom would make me breakfast in the morning.
He lived with his mom?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
All right.
This guy was all over the place.
Was he trying to get his mom a job?
Every
Strip
shot.
club? Like, this guy sucks. I apologize on behalf of all men, but we do have
I want to apologize on behalf of Kate Beckinsale. She's who's in Serendipity, not Catherine Zeta-Jones. My apologies.
Yeah, we've had a lot of celebrity name mix-ups here. We're all forgiven. We're all forgiving ourselves. We have a lot of young men listening in right now, approximately 18 million, and they are all John's enthusiasts. That's kind of the common thread. What, in your opinion, like, speaking for yourself only, what do you think is the most attractive way for a man to dress and to present himself?
Yeah. Let's say for a date.
For a date?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
making a good first impression, I say. Yeah.
Great first impression would probably be somebody who doesn't feel like they're trying too hard and like that they actually like what they're wearing. And it's coming out of like an authentic sense of style. And it doesn't look like they're copying anyone else.
But not like not a Tom Brown short suit.
Yeah.
If that's who they are.
All right. Yeah. If they are a man in children's clothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What
are your recommendations for first date?
I would say a nice. Well, first of all, I guess it would depend on the details of the date, like what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Time of year.
Yeah, I think a nice shirt, kind of like James and I are both wearing a shirt with a collar, but a little casual.
We're all wearing a shirt with a collar.
Honestly, to be honest, I think the way that all of us are dressed, right? You got on some great Levi's and a nice shoe. I think we're all kind of nailing it, to be honest. That's
in a way, this is like a podcast first date.
This is our first date.
Yeah, and also a meeting of the minds of just generational on mic talent. So I would expect us to nail it.
Can I use your podcast for my own personal?
Of course.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, this is your time.
Okay, I figured your listenership might be the one to help me. I had a pair of Air Max ones that had a digital camo Liberty print, and I wore them out to like the sole actually disappeared and had to throw them out. I can't find them anywhere. I wear a size 7.
Was it a men's shoe or was it a women's release? Like what? Do you remember? Okay.
Did you search all the sites like StockX?
Yeah, all the obvious shit.
Like,
did I really Phil? I know. Did I think I'm coming on throwing fits and maybe somebody will just...
You can just text Phil. You know Phil would be able to find it in 1 second. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, listen, if there ever was an opportunity for any of our 18 million young go-hards, if they were going to ever impress Gillian Jacobs, the humble queen celebrity podcaster, James literally put him right in the chat. Is it? You can easily get these on StockX.
Is this it?
These weren't them, but those are great.
Okay, not them, not the ones.
When you say digital Liberty print, does that mean like it's floral?
It was
like
floral.
Liberty, like a Liberty of London? Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, anyone who's listening that could track these down, I guess send it to us and we'll send it to you.
DM your publicist. Yeah, send it to us and we'll pass it along for sure.
Erica.
Right? Yeah,
Erica. I better warn Erica.
She does not know what she's in for. You might want to walk that back.
Erica, there's a storm coming.
Yeah.
Gillian,
and down the hatches, Erica. It's about to get fucking real.
Before we kick you out of here and enter the afters, only available on patreon.com/throwingfits. You're obviously doing amazing. You're in Invincible, the Fear Street movies this summer. Your podcast is fucking hitting different. That being said, we do want to offer up some constructive criticism that, we really just want you to take it or leave it. But we think that if you were to take it, you would do even better in all your endeavors, especially car collecting. I'll go first. I mean, you mentioned Marc Jacobs as like something that you hold near and dear to your heart, these heels of yours. Why don't you call up the man himself? He's a fit god.
Yes.
And put together a collaboration called Marc Jacobs on Gillian Jacobs by Marc Jacobs for Gillian Jacobs with Marc Jacobs.
Perfect. Great. Done.
All right. Done. Here's another one for you, Gillian. Invite us, one extremely stupid man and then a less stupid man on your Women Instead podcast so we can mansplain a variety of high level topics and concepts we have absolutely zero knowledge or insight into.
Great. Done.
Say less. We'll talk about phytology or driponomics, I guess is what we call it on the pod. We could do that. That's that's a little bit of art and science, kind of like bacon.
I like it. Steam.
Yeah, exactly.
Steamed. The D is driponomics. This is both a aesthetic and hygienic piece of constructive criticism. Buy an 8th shirt and wear that 8th shirt because
all right.
Only 7. I mean, I imagine that, it's one of every day of the week. You do a weekly load of laundry. I get it. But it's good to have options.
Okay. Fair point.
And then finally, can you commit right now on mic, which I believe would be a verbal contract, to playing a role in the eventual Throwing Fits show that maybe a mutual friend of ours that we know might be helping us develop as we speak?
Yes, absolutely.
Woo, that's a verbal contract. Yeah. Book it.
You can play Erica Nardini, the CEO of Barstool Sports.
I don't expect you to understand what the fuck he just said. But
yeah, yes, Gillian, normally we would ask, where can the kids follow you on social media? But like, why don't you plug... What do you want to plug right now?
Yeah, I want to plug my podcast, Periodic Talks. You can find that on wherever you found this podcast.
Whatever your favorite podcast is.
They found this podcast in the trash can. So maybe check Spotify or Apple Pods.
Check out the animated series Invincible. Fear Street will be coming out this summer. And what
Lawrence,
else?
Lawrence, I'll send you a screener link for that too.
Please. Thank you. That would be so great.
Mikey Alfred's North Hollywood, whenever that is available.
Yes,
I'm a tiny part in that, but I love Mikey. I directed an episode of this doc series about Marvel Comics that's on Disney Plus.
Oh, sick.
So the series is called 616, and my episode is the second one in the series, and it's all about women who worked at Marvel Comics as writers and editors and artists over the decades. So you can check it out.
That's awesome. Sick. Is that out right now?
Yeah.
It's out now, yeah. It's
and Invincible is on Amazon Prime, and Fear Street will be on Netflix.
Correct.
Damn, you're on all the platforms.
Damn, dude. That's why she doesn't need socials, because she's on every goddamn streaming platform.
Her socials are HBO Max and Amazon. What the fuck are you doing? All right,
get
Gillian.
your fucking cake up.
Thank you for coming on the only podcast that matters, Chef. I'm gonna need you to slap on that outro music.